fourth general body. We're gonna have a speaker from Loop Abroad that I'll let Kayla introduce in just a second here. But just for some announcements, the only one we've got right now is that we do have that EULAR informational Zoom session coming up on Monday at 5:30 p.m. We don't have information for the Zoom for that yet, but we will have that and get it to you as soon as we know it. And then a kind of new thing that we want to do for just the club to be more interconnected to the rest of Ohio State is do a club spotlight. So one of the clubs that we wanted to talk about today, just briefly, is the Buckeye Parasitology Club. So this is actually a club from the College of Veterinary Medicine, but it is open to undergrads. So definitely encourage you guys to join. It will help refine your microscopy skills, as well as give you some more information on the different parasites that we see in vet med. If you have worked in a clinic or have worked in any veterinary setting, you know that parasites are pretty common, and it would definitely be useful to you, as well as just getting connected to some more people who are passionate about the same things that you are. There are some wet labs, some lunch and Zoom lecture options, and networking opportunities that kind of come along with any club. But this one is special because it is part of the CVM. So we have a little bit of information about the dues and the contacts. Pretty cheap in my opinion. And there's some contact information for the president if you'd like to get more information on that. You're also more than welcome to ask one of the general or executive board members, and we can try to point you in the right direction. So last but not least, hello. Sorry, gang. Last but not least, we are doing something new. So we are going to start doing PVMA member spotlights. This is kind of Adriana's little brainchild, so I'm going to pass it off to her to kind of talk about a little bit. And if you have any questions, you can direct them towards any of the EB members, but Adriana is probably your best person to talk to. So take it away.
Hi guys. So yeah, we just decided that we thought it'd be fun to do some member spotlights for PVMA. So basically, I made a Google form. If you just want to scan the QR code, I can also put it in the group me after this if you guys want me to. But basically, you can either sign up to be a member spotlight on our email or Instagram, or you can nominate someone else in PVMA to be a spotlight. If you nominate yourself, then we're gonna base it off of club involvement for the semester, so how many points you have. Um, but yeah, just scan the QR, it'll direct you to a Google form, and then if you get nominated by someone else, I will contact you and send you another Google form to fill out info on yourself for the spotlight. But yep, that's basically it.
Awesome. All right, Kayla, I am going to pass this off to you and your speaker.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you everyone for joining today. I know a lot of you have probably heard about Loop Abroad before, but this is kind of just going to be a meeting to talk more about it. I personally have been on 2 study abroads, did 1 online internship, and did semester classes with them. It's an amazing program for pre-vet students, so I'm glad you all came. And then Haley's here to kind of talk about the amazing program that it is and kind of answer any questions you guys might have.
Hi, so I'm stepping in for Mary Beth. Kind of last minute, so bear with me on the whole presentation thing, but we'll go ahead and get started. So as you can see, this is not me. This is Mary Beth. She's our director of admissions. Who are we? We're Loop Abroad, and our other company is Sella. We are a pre-vet study abroad program. We have programs all over that are just amazing to attend, like she said. Why study abroad? Study abroad gives you access and very many opportunities to different.
Haley, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I don't think we can see the presentation. Is
Oh,
there?
no. Let's see. Let's start over.
You're
Okay.
good. No, you're good.
Okay. Why not? Okay. How about now? We're good? Perfect. Okay, so that's Mary Beth, not me. Um, this is the first slide we were on, just Loop Abroad. We're pre-vet study abroad program. So why study abroad? It gives you a lot of opportunities to gain different kinds of hours for your VEMCAS that you'll need. You'll get experience, you'll get to meet different people all around the world, different kinds of vets, and just make a lot of personal connections that are really good for you in the future. So this is funding your trip. Financial aid and scholarships, that's like two of our main questions on how people afford this program. Your first step I would do is contact your academic advisor and see how your school will provide financial aid or what financial aid you can use. Scholarships, we have a huge database. This is not all the scholarships out there. This is 17 pages. It's a lot. So you can take a look at those. Again, I would ask your academic advisor if they know of any scholarships for local or that your school's doing. There's a lot of options out there. We can also set up payment plans with you and work with you however we need to help you afford this program. Okay, so we have programs in Thailand. Most of our Thailand programs are targeted towards elephants and marine life. You'll get to work with them, and it's really great experience. Our South Africa program, we have targeted towards big cats and zoo medicine. We have research and conservation management in South Africa and a lot of pre-vet options. These are our most popular programs. They fill up very quickly. So this year we actually opened up some more options. And so we take a look at those. Our Australia focuses on wildlife medicine, and this you'll see lots of kangaroos and koalas, and you'll do a lot of animal husbandry, clinical care, and that is Costa Rica. Costa Rica is where you'll see a lot of your sea turtles and dolphins. I don't know if you have heard of Land of the Stray. It's literally 2,000 dogs, as you can see here below. That is on our pre-vet shelter med and dolphin research program. And then we have our US programs. A lot of those or a lot of students like to do during we have spring break options just because they're easier to get to because we all live in the States, you know. And when you're traveling in the summer, you're not in school and it's a lot easier to study abroad. And then we have our 12-week. Our 12-week programs our South Africa is new this year, and it's basically a combination of all of our other programs. You'll get a lot of college credit and good vet hours for your VEMCAS on all of these. Our internships are a little different than our study abroad programs. These are open-end dates, meaning you get to pick when you want to go and how long you want to go. So they're 2 to 12 weeks long. And another main difference is there's no college credit on these, and so there's no teacher. So that is a big issue or a big difference when people need to use financial aid. It's harder to use on our internships, but you also have more freedom on these, and they're more relaxed, I guess you could say. It's like a typical internship. You work 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday. They're a great time as well. Then we have our SELA programs. Our SELA health program, our nursing program in Belize. These are open in the winter, in January. Our SELA program, you'll see a little bit of a tuition difference. And that's because your tuition is not all inclusive. A little on the cheap side, so budget for that. expected activities. So each of our programs have different kind of like fun days, we get to call them. You get to go zip lining. On your Thailand ones, you tour like Chiang Mai and in Sydney. Australia, you get to go to Sydney and see all kind of things there. And I don't want to really read this to y'all. It's boring. This is our SELA programs. They're So the difference here, you can see our loop programs are $4,350 and our SELA are $3,180. The tuition is due October 31st, the deposit is due October 31st, which is close. That if you pay your deposit by then, you receive $100 off of your program tuition. So Emily's group is a private group that's created for your school. It's the Shelter Med and Dolphin Research. This is a discounted price for a private group. And when applying it, you'll go on the website and hit the big apply button in the top right corner. Apply now. You'll look for the private group button and you'll select Emily's private group. The tuition for that, the deposit for that is due November 1st. These are just some pictures from past programs. That is the Dolphin Research Program and the Shelter Med. So you can see the dolphins. You'll be on a boat every day that week. And the next week, you'll be doing a lot of clinical work with all the stray dogs, doing spay and neuters. The dolphins, you'll be out there researching all day, every day. It's really an amazing experience to be out there. And then flights. So we do have group flights for certain programs. So for Thailand and Africa, you'll fly out as a group from JFK. And for Australia, you'll fly out as a group from LAX. If there isn't a group flight, then we will set a certain time that you need to be in country where a Loop Abroad staff member will pick you up and transport you to the program site. And group flights will be posted in January. Other details. So housing is more dorm style, depending on what trip you go on is depending on kind of how your housing is. The more rustic houses are really in our wildlife programs. Like Mary always says, there's no hotels in wildlife. So they're a little more rustic. You will be with the same gender no matter where you're going. There's always Wi-Fi. They're not that bad anywhere. So the current student site. This contains everything you might need to know, want to know, or didn't know you needed to know about the program. You can find a very detailed packing list, what you should bring, what you should not bring, how to book your flight, any kind of program information. You can find more specific housing and meal information. And this will also give you examples of scholarships and how to apply for financial aid. This will save your life once you apply. Okay, how to apply. So you will go to Loop Abroad or Sella.com, click the big apply button. You'll select summer, winter, and then the program you're wanting to go on and fill out the application. Basically, you'll need 2 reference emails, an essay, which is just why you want to join the program, a little bit about you, what you want to do in the future, and an unofficial transcript. It can be a screenshot off of your computer, even. It doesn't need to be that formal. And then reminder, our early enrollment discount ends October 31st. So apply and deposit by then, and you get $100 off your tuition. Okay, I know I sped through that very quickly, but does anyone have any questions? No.
Um, I kind of know this already, but I thought it would be fun to ask. So I know that there are people who are interested in going on multiple trips, in the same kind of semester. How does that work?
So when you apply, I guess I'll just start from the beginning of how it works. When you apply, you'll select however many programs you're wanting to go on. And once you are accepted, then we will basically work with you on how we'll get you from program to program, with your flights. There's a lot of coordinating, but it is not as hard as it would seem to get it all together. You can combine any two programs you want, really. We suggest like our two Thailand ones together or two South Africa, but generally you can combine any program, any two programs you'd like together. Oh yeah. Adriana. Yes, there's some spots left on Adriana's private group that she's doing to Belize this summer. Yes, for private groups, there's no essay, you just no references needed. It's very quick. Once you apply, you pretty much get accepted.
You might have touched on this a bit, but what has been like your history or your experience with Loop Abroad? Like where what kind of what have you like gained from the organization itself?
So I personally have not traveled with Loop Abroad because I just kind of started this year. So I'm hoping that I get to go to Thailand this summer with the high school students. But the admissions director, Mary Beth, is my sister. So she's been on several programs. She started out going to, I think South Africa was her first trip that she went on. She's been to Thailand. She's been to all of them. She loved it. It changed her mind about a lot of things. It opened up her mind on just how things are different and the connections that she made while she was on this program and the experiences. I mean, these are like crazy experiences that you get. I mean, you see an elephant and you're like, I want to touch it, or a big cat and you're just like, I want to pet those murder mittens. I want to touch those. And you get to actually work with these animals that you see everywhere that you normally don't get to. So the experience is just amazing in itself.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So Alexander said, do the internships count towards our internship requirement for the animal science major?
So I have spoken to my advisor. So with the animal science internship, it does require 200 hours. So I think just making sure that you're reaching that requirement while you're on the internship. I know that all of the internships have to be approved prior to you going. And then your advisor has to approve it. So I would just, email your specific advisor and ask them about it, just to make sure.
Yeah, so you do have to pay for the internships. It's based off of week by week payment kind of thing. If there's like certain requirements that y'all need for a science major, animal science major, like I had one girl, her vet had to be like a vet of like 10 years. So if there's like requirements that you need, you can simply email admissions@loopabroad.com and let me know what your requirements are, and we'll work with all of our internship groups and see what internship would best work for you. You can also find our internships on our website. If you go to loopabroad.com, it says like study abroad and travel and then internships. Whenever you scroll over that, there's a list of them there. And so you can check all those out. So no, it's okay if you graduate before your program. We say we have like an age limit of 25, but that's so we don't have like 50-year-olds trying to apply just for funsies. Like it's okay if it's in between like you graduating and it's like you just graduated, like that's fine. Any other questions? No, there are no specific qualifications. Our global semester abroad, you have to have a college level biology, but for our 2 weeks and like our internships, there are no qualifications.
I didn't know if you were able to talk a little bit about some of the classes that they offer. I know that there's some online classes with Loop Abroad, like suturing and things like that. I'm not sure if that's still an option for students.
There is, sorry, flash warning, very fast. So, once we're done with this, I think Maribeth has sent it to somebody, maybe you, Kayla. If you sign up for our email list, you will be entered into a suture kit giveaway. We mail you. If she hasn't, just let me know your email and I'll email it to you. Our suture kit is really nice. It's a online program. You get to do kind of like most of our online programs are at their own pace. So once you sign up, they don't ever expire. There's no like certain days you have to take a test by or anything like that. You just get to watch the lectures on your own time and then take the quizzes when you can.
Also for animal science majors, just because I've taken some of the online courses, generally speaking, you guys can get elective credits for that. So, we need a certain number of elective major credits to graduate. And as long as you get the syllabus from Loop Abroad and submit that to your advisor, you should be able to get credit for most of the courses.
How much are these classes? What are they called? Our online classes. There we go. They range from they're all different. I think a couple of them are like 960. They're really if you go to online .loopabroad.com, you can find all of our online classes there. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, it'll have your tuition for each one of them. These are really nice to do. The ones that have going on a Loop Abroad trip, if you go on another one this year, not a private group, but just a regular 2-week program, you can get $500 off for being an alumni. Plus, if you apply and deposit before October 31st, you get an extra $100 off. So you could potentially save $600 if you're already a Loop Abroad alum, which is a very nice savings. Yeah, if you're not sure about credit or anything like that, you can email me and I'll send you the syllabus. Or again, I can send it to Kayla and she can share it with y'all. It has all of our credits on there, and you can just send it to your academic advisor and they'll let you know what kind of credits it'll transfer as. Oh, I just read yours now. No, there are no scholarships available for online classes.
Are there any opportunities for students who participated in a program already to come back and work for Loop Abroad? Is that a possibility?
Yes. So once you're a Loop Abroad alum, you can actually lead a group and basically be like a Loop Abroad staff. Once you're an alum, you get added to like our alumni email, and we will send out applications for that in the spring, which is really fun. Any other questions?
If no one else has any questions, I didn't know if I know a ton of people in this group have gone around to Loop Abroad trips, so I think maybe if we wanted to just kind of hop on and talk about our experiences in the groups that we've done. So, I guess I can kind of start. So 3 years ago, I did an online internship. I don't know if those are things anymore because it was during COVID, but the internship was super fun. It was based in Thailand, and I think I learned a lot about shelter medicine and things like that, which was super interesting. I did the suture techniques class, which I will send that link out when I get that, but I would enter it, and even if you don't win, I would do it anyway. It was super fun. I feel like I have more knowledge, and I got to keep the suture kit that I got with the class, so I can kind of apply that. And like she said, it didn't expire, so I still have access to all of that information as well. I went last year, I participated in the Australia Pre-Vet program. So I went to Sydney and participated in that for 2 weeks. It was super great, very focused on, I would say, more conservation and husbandry. It was super fun. And then this past year, I was the first group to go to Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, which was super awesome. I had an amazing time following the veterinarians there. They were so awesome, so kind, and a lot of hands-on experience there. So that was kind of what I did. I don't know if anyone else wants to join in, but I can't recommend this program enough. I feel like this was a great way for me to get hours, especially with exotic and wildlife medicine. I know we have a lot of opportunities with small animal here and some large animals since we're based in Columbus, but this is a great way to get experience that way. And also, I just met a ton of great people, and I still talk with everyone from both of the groups that I went on, and we're still friends. And it was just super great. And the veterinarians were also super nice, and they sometimes write you a letter of recommendations. Hint, hint.
Yes.
I can talk about mine. So this past summer, I went on a trip with Emily. We went to South Africa. We went and volunteered our time at Laurie Park Zoo, and Conservatory, I believe. And it was awesome. We got to do a bunch of different zookeeper rotations for different groups of animals. Some notable ones: big cats, small cats, birds of prey, reptiles, primates, one other I'm forgetting. But it was phenomenal. Got to meet a bunch of different cool people from across the United States, and also just across the world. The veterinarians at the Loop Abroad had brought together also gave lectures, and we got to participate in some enrichment projects for the zoo animals, which was really great. I would say it was definitely veterinary focused, but it wasn't like a typical clinical setting where, you know, you're practicing holding the animals, or, you know, maybe practicing blood draws or vaccinations or things like that. So it was definitely more husbandry focused, with a emphasis on the other knowledge that we kind of got in like a classroom lecture setting, which I personally found really enjoyable because we don't get to hear about all that stuff, from such seasoned professionals. So 2 weeks long, perfect amount of time. And I'm just like Kayla, I still talk to all the people that I went on the trip with, and had to go halfway across the world to meet some of the people who live 5 minutes away from me. But it was great. So I would definitely recommend it.
I'll jump in after Grace. Because yeah, literally I'd seen Grace at PVMA meetings all the time, and it took the Loop Abroad trip for us to actually meet. But yeah, since she talked about South Africa, I'll really focus on I went to Panama first with Loop Abroad, which was a more clinical trip. And we got to work with exotics at a sloth sanctuary. I got to perform a physical exam. And so like the South Africa trip, I organized that because it was more of a mix of husbandry and clinical. But if you guys are looking for more hands-on, there are more specific programs like the Panama trip where we got to practice performing laser treatments, blood draws, our suturing skills. We vaccinated animals multiple days. So there are more clinical trips too. The Costa Rica dogs and dolphins that I'm doing is a nice split between the two because you're going to spend 1 week doing all dog clinical skills and the other week is doing that research. So if you guys need those hours, it's a great way to get it. And like Grace mentioned and Kayla, the networking is amazing. I was actually talking to one of the vets today on Instagram that I met over there, and they're just so amazing. And you learn so much from them about exotics, about small animal. And like Kayla said, letters of rec, amazing. And even just like the mentorship and being able to be like, hey, I really want to work with this animal across the world. Do you know anybody in the field? And they can connect you. So I highly recommend, you know, taking a look, checking out one of our private groups, which have discounted tuition, you know, me or Adriana. Those close up soon. So now is your time, guys. But yeah, it's I highly recommend it. Both of the trips I've been on are amazing. And I actually I planned to work on a trip for them, which was also going to be amazing. But unfortunately, I got a dog, which kind of messed that up. But I highly recommend it because once you're an alum, you get so many opportunities out of that too, working with the high school students, helping lead groups like I'm doing, getting discounted trips and discounted classes. So I highly recommend you guys check it out.
Yeah, I can also talk a little bit about the South Africa trip. I went with Emily's group, the one that Grace was on, and I know a bunch of other people in this club were on there too. I also did the like extension week, so I was there for 3 weeks. The third week I was at Care for Wild, which is a rhino sanctuary, and that was pretty cool. I think that was the first time Loop Abroad had ever brought a group to that. I don't know, or maybe this was the first summer they were doing it. I'm not sure, something like that. But that was really interesting because I got like a good mix of like husbandry and clinical, like they said. And then I also got like a conservation kind of side with also husbandry thrown in. Um, but yeah, pretty much everything that Kayla and Grace and Emily said, I agree with it completely, especially with all of the vets that were on our trip were super amazing, still connected to them all. You know, we follow each other on social media. And it was also just really nice, like Emily said, the mentorship. But one thing that I didn't expect was they were telling us about their like paths in vet med, I guess, which one is really cool to see from like a different country's perspective because they were not from the US. So that was really cool to see, but also it was like very reassuring that it's like you don't have to follow like a set in stone path. It was just like nice to see different experiences. But yeah, so the Sella trip that I'm planning, if you guys are interested, like we have a group chat. Some of you might be in it, but that one is really hands-on large animal, the most hands-on Sella program that they offer. which I know is really good for people who might be applying soon because if you're like me, I was like really struggling to find large animal experience. So this would be a really good opportunity for you guys if you're looking for it. But overall, I had the best time on my trip ever. Like Grace said, I met so many people who literally go to the school that I had never seen before in my life. And I talk to them all the time. But then I also met a lot of people who don't go to the school. Um, and just like I don't know, this is kind of a random story, but one of the girls that like I met on my trip is like such a small world moment. She lives in Washington, D.C., and her best friend's dad is my dad's best friend from college. And we just found that out like 2 weeks ago or something. And it was so weird. So, yeah, the people that you meet are going to become like some of your best friends, and you're going to talk to them all the time, and it's going to be great. So, good for your academic and also good for your, you know, personal life, but highly recommend.
Does anyone have any other questions or comments or anything they want to get off their chest? All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming and listening to this Loop Abroad talk. It was really great. Like I said, great experiences. I'll be sending that link out. And then obviously go on their website and look around. They have so many opportunities. Do you have an email that you would like them to direct any questions to if they think of them later or if they just want to ask separately?
Yeah. So my email is admissions@loopabroad.com. I can answer really any of your questions if you need to schedule a call with me. A lot of people like to talk on the phone. That's fine. I like to talk on the phone. I have a link in my email that you can schedule a call anytime. And yeah, so it's just admissions@loopabroad.com.
Right. Well, thank you so much for coming to talk to us. It was really great. I think this is something a lot of our students can really benefit from. So thank you so much. If you guys have any other questions, you can definitely stick around and ask them. But otherwise, I'll send that link out to sign up for the mailing list for that suture kit giveaway. But otherwise, we have our next executive board meeting next week, but then you guys are all good to head out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, I have a quick question.
Yeah, I think she left, but I've done a few of these, so I can probably answer.
Okay. I was just wondering like the difference between joining like a private group and doing like not a private group. Does that just mean like a private group is everyone's from like Ohio State, but not then if it's not a private group, then it could be people from like anywhere?
Yeah, so I can kind of answer. I know that if it's not a private group, like you can always be paired with someone who's like at the same school, but I know with mine, like I was never with anyone at Ohio State or anywhere near me. That non-private groups can literally be anybody, but I know you guys have done private groups, so
Yeah, so the group that like the trip that Grace and I went on last year was a private group through Ohio State. So the deal with that was the good thing about joining a private group, which is also like the one that Emily's planning and the one that I'm planning for next summer, is you don't need any letters or like emails of recommendation. You don't have to write an essay. You literally just apply and like hit private group, and then they'll say that you're waiting to be admitted, but like there's like they just admit you. You don't have to do anything extra, which is really nice. And I think there's a $100 discount, I think she said, if I remember correctly. But so when we went on our trip, there were like 3 groups there at the same time, like that were at the zoo that we were working at. There were 3 groups. 2 of them were Ohio State, just because of that's how many people signed up for the trip. And then the third group was non-Ohio State people. And then when I went on the um third like extension week, then that one was just anyone who signed up. So basically it just depends how many people sign up for the private group, if it's gonna be all people from your school or not. But I mean, it really doesn't make a difference besides the fact that the application process is way easier. But
Okay. Is there anywhere to like find more information about the private groups, or is that just something like we apply to, like we
um,
choose in the process?
so like if you want more information on my trip or Emily's trip, you can join. We have GroupMe's, or like I think Emily's does too, is my like trip specifically for my private group has its own web page. Um, so I can send you that if you want. Um, or I think Emily put the GroupMe in the chat if you want to join hers. Um, but basically when you apply, there'll be an option to say if you're applying as a private group, and then when you do, like when you select that date range, it should show you a bunch of names, and you just select whoever like the Ohio State person is. But if you want to go on a trip that we're not planning, then it would be different. You just wouldn't select private group. But
Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
mhm.